Feminists, why are we still talking to the anti-fems? I ask this question in all seriousness because, as we all know, as we all have seen, these people, the anti-fems, are not involved in this discussion to have a discussion.
A question, if I may. How do you know? Have you spoken to anyone in the anti-SJW or anti-feminist quote-unquote community? Or are you just making blanket assertions based on what people in your sphere say about us? Many people who speak out against feminists say that they want to have discussions with feminists so they might be able to come to some form of agreement. People like Andy Warski and Ranting Monkey do reach out to feminists to have debates and have discussions. If you're just making blanket assertions, however, then that might come to bite you in the ass. I myself do not speak for everyone in this sphere, just like you do not speak for everyone in your sphere.
They are not trying to talk to us so that they can hash out our issues and their issues and reach a peaceable accord. Nobody, I think, on our side can argue that that is what they want. Has anybody seen that? Because I haven't. I know pretty much no one has, because that's not what they want.
I'll ask you again. Have you spoken to anyone who speaks out against feminism or SJW rhetoric or identifies as an anti-feminist? I'm just wondering.
They are in this to win social points. When the anti-feminist wants to engage the feminist in a debate, it is almost never, if ever, about actually reaching an accord of ideas and furthering understanding. It is about them pwning you, about them winning over you, because to them this entire argument is about victory and loss. It's not about understanding, it's not about furthering the community, it's not about reaching better ideas for the furtherance of humanity. It's about winning against the feminists. They want to defeat us.
Well, yes, there are some channels out there that are dedicated to pwning feminists and SJWs. There are many that aren't. Some channels actually take your arguments and respond back to them, giving the other side of the debate with facts upon facts upon facts. Others create videos to give their experiences and opinions on certain situations they've been in. We're all different, we're all individual. What I try to do in my videos is I try to give the other side of the argument, something that is severely lacking at the moment. Admittedly, yes, there might be some want to win factor to it, because nearly every time I look on the TV or internet, another advert is sexist, something else is racist, and something somewhere is oppressing women.
So, what do? And I know we've all seen it. When you bring up serious issues, they pivot away from it. They find a different topic, especially when you press them down, because they don't want to stick to the points. They don't even stick to their own claims when pressed.
Do you have any evidence of this? Which YouTubers in our sphere have done this? In other words, citation needed.
They're willing to change their beliefs in order to fit the larger picture of anti-feminist ideology. Any claim they make is subject to retroactive editing or denial based on the fact that it no longer fits the narrative. There is no intellectual honesty here.
It's not an ideology. It's just a group of people who don't agree with the feminist rhetoric and SJW nonsense. We come from all walks of life, across the political spectrum. We don't have a hive mind. I think that's been shown often enough, especially with the most recent drama. Nope, not a hive mind.
Furthermore, half of what they do is simply attacks on the feminist community. Look at any comment section on any major feminist group or person or page and see the amount of vitriolic hatred that comes from the other side, and understand that this side is not about understanding us, they're about defeating us, they're about winning over us.
You know that most of those could be trolls, right? But how about you talk to someone in our sphere and see for yourself? You might be surprised.
So the one thing that we should not be doing is engaging them as though they want to have an honest discussion. All that does is give them a podium with which to speak their hateful ideology, and it gives them an air of legitimacy that they do not deserve. So why give them the platform that comes with that debate integrity of wanting to have an honest discussion? That is what a debate table, the chair for debate, is for, is it not? To sit up there and have an honest discussion where everybody can hear it and evaluate things and come to their own conclusions.
What good is a debate if you don't want to listen to the other side of the argument? That is what you're telling people to do by saying that they shouldn't engage in discussion or conversation with an anti-feminist or somebody who doesn't agree with them. So when people are only receiving half the argument, what good is it going to do?
If one side is not willing to play by this rule, then they're not having the debate and thus do not deserve to sit at that table. It's very, very, very simple logic. And so, what do we do instead of talking to them? Because I think anybody who's willing to have that honest reflection here will admit that talking to, especially the heads of the anti-feminists, but the movement in general, is not very productive.
What heads? What leaders? I didn't realise we had such leadership. Did I miss a memo or something?
They have made up their mind regardless of truth, evidence, or reason. What we need to do is reach the undecided, the ignorant, the uninformed, the regular person who thinks that maybe both sides are too extreme, or just isn't aware that there's a need for feminism because they're detached from these concerns.
Funny how you talk about truth and evidence in a video where you provide none for the blanket assertions you are making in this very video. But I see now. You don't want to talk to us because you don't want the ignorant people, as you put it, to hear the other side of the argument. You want people to decide on only half the argument. It makes me wonder, what are you afraid of? If the arguments of the anti-feminist sphere were so bad, you'd allow them at that table to let the people see how terrible their arguments are. Instead, you're trying to hide us in the shadows, telling others not to engage.
There's a lot of people, in fact the majority of the people out there, who are effectively uncommitted. They don't know, they don't believe, they don't understand, whatever have you. And those are the people we need to reach, because let's be real here. This is not a battle against the anti-feminists, not really. This is a battle for the heart and soul of society. This is a battle for how the people view things, because the anti-feminists become irrelevant the minute the people decide that feminism is the way to go. If society falls in line behind something, that is what happens.
So in other words, you want people to only agree with the feminist rhetoric because you view it as right and true and you don't want anyone to speak out against it? Well, at least you're being honest.
The anti-feminists understand this well. That's why they make a spectacle of us. That's why they don't fight us the way we want to fight, because it's all about the arena of public attention and appearance.
So your plan is then to avoid discussion?
Not a great plan.
If they make fools of us and they make us continue to fight them in losing battles that they orchestrate, we appear weak, we appear foolish, we appear like we don't know what's going on, because they're dictating the terms of the fight and we're just blithely marching in and fighting it on their terms.
You have to admit, sometimes it's easy just to point and laugh at some of the stupidity that comes out of the feminist movement. Sexist air conditioning? Really? And that's only scratching the surface. You know, it might not be the anti-feminists making the feminist movement look bad.
Well, that needs to stop. Don't fight the anti-feminist. Fight for the people they want to control. Fight for the average person, the regular person out there. Fight to get information out there to people that might be swayed the other direction.
I don't want to control anyone. Except for maybe a character in a video game. But there you go again, talking about evidence whilst providing none. But do you not think that that is what we also are trying to do? Putting another opinion out there so that the ordinary person can make their own decisions? Sometimes it can be as simple as common sense. Other times, some anti-feminists do provide links in the description to sources in their videos, such as studies or articles. For example, people like Teal Deer provide sources in his videos because he goes into depth in the details.
Because those are the people that can be won. not the hardcore anti-feminist sitting over there frothing at the mouth at the thought of a Wonder Woman movie. Those aren't the people you're going to win.
You really want to make anti-feminists out to be monsters, don't you? Again, at least you're being honest about it. But here's something that might surprise you. I like that there is a Wonder Woman film, but not for the reasons you might think I do. I don't care that it's a film with a strong female lead, because guess what? We've had films like that. I'm glad that there is a Wonder Woman film because it might give Marvel a kick in the ass. It has certainly pushed the bar higher for the Justice League film to match, and it might be the film to help DC rise from the ashes of meh ever since they started out.
The only way those people change their mind is when the rest of society looks at them and goes, we've gotten over that shit. Why are you still on that? And they're shamed into it. They're ridiculed and forgotten until they move on to the page now. That's how you win this fight with them. You win society, not them.
So, bullying tactics. Look, the best way to defeat us, as you put it, would be to have a discussion with us, to debate us, and let people decide which of our arguments they agree with more. If your arguments are better than mine, or if mine are better than yours, so be it. Instead, what you're telling people to do is ignore us. That will only make you look like you can't back up your points and prefer to hide instead of stand your ground. And that's the end of the video, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, subscribe. If you'd like to support me further, there is a link to Patreon down below in the description. Any support you can give will be greatly appreciated. See you in the next video, guys. Bye!